Hey Gemini, I need to talk to you about something that came up in today's reading because the energy around you right now is honestly unlike anything I have seen in a while. I pulled cards specifically for what is coming your way in the next 48 hours, and I have to tell you, this is not your typical week ahead energy. There is something building, something that has been in the background for a while now, and it is about to push its way to the forefront of your life in a way that you might not be fully prepared for. I am not here to scare you or create unnecessary drama, but I do want you to understand what the cards are showing, because being aware of this energy can completely change how you navigate what is coming. The universe has a message for you, and honestly, I think you are going to want to hear this before the next couple of days unfold. So let me walk you through what I am seeing, and we can explore this together, because there is a lot happening beneath the surface right now. The first card that came through for you is the Nine of Wands, and I have to say, this card immediately tells me that you have been fighting. Like really fighting. This is not about some small inconvenience or a minor setback. This is about you having been in the trenches for what feels like forever now. The Nine of Wands shows someone who has been through battle after battle, someone who has taken hit after hit, and yet you are still standing. You are tired though. I can feel that exhaustion coming through so clearly. This card shows a figure who is wounded, who is weary, but who refuses to give up. There is this defensive posture in the Nine of Wands, like you are constantly looking over your shoulder, waiting for the next challenge to come your way. And here is the thing, Gemini. You have every right to feel this way because you have been through a lot. The battles you have fought recently, whether they have been emotional, professional, or personal, they have taken a toll on you. But what I find really interesting about the Nine of Wands appearing as your first card is that it tells me you are in that final stretch. You are not at the beginning of this journey, you are near the end of it. This is the ninth wand out of 10, which means you have come so far already. You have survived so much. And yes, there might be one more push required of you in these next 48 hours, one more challenge that tests your resolve, but you have the strength to get through it. The Nine of Wands is asking you to hold your ground just a little bit longer. Do not let your guard down completely, but also do not let the fear of what might come next paralyze you. You are wounded, but you are not defeated. You are tired, but you are not broken. And in the next 2 days, you might find yourself facing a situation where you need to draw on every ounce of resilience you have built up during this difficult period. Someone or something might challenge you, might push against your boundaries, might test whether you are truly committed to the path you have been walking. And the Nine of Wands says, yes, you are committed. Yes, you will stand firm. But it also reminds you that it is okay to acknowledge how tired you are. It is okay to admit that this has been hard. Strength does not mean pretending you are invincible. It means showing up even when you are exhausted, even when you have been knocked down before and you are scared it might happen again. The energy of the Nine of Wands in your reading tells me that whatever comes your way in the next 48 hours, it is going to require you to be defensive, to be protective of your energy and your boundaries. Someone might try to take advantage of your kindness or your willingness to help. Someone might push back against a decision you have made or a boundary you have set. And you need to be ready to stand your ground without backing down, but also without completely exhausting yourself in the process. This is about strategic defense, not aggressive offense. You are not trying to start a war. You are just trying to protect what you have worked so hard to build. Now, the second card is the Seven of Wands. And okay, this is where things get really interesting because we are seeing a pattern here with these Wands cards. The Seven of Wands takes that defensive energy from the Nine of Wands and it cranks it up to a whole new level. If the Nine of Wands is about holding your position, the Seven of Wands is about actively defending it against multiple challengers. This card shows someone standing on higher ground, holding a wand and fighting off 6 other wands that are coming at them from below. This is the energy of being outnumbered, of feeling like everyone is against you or questioning you or challenging your authority or your decisions. And Gemini, I need you to understand that in the next 48 hours, you might find yourself in a position where you feel like you are fighting multiple battles at once. This could show up as people questioning your choices, as criticism coming from different directions, as having to defend your ideas or your plans to people who do not seem to understand or support what you are trying to do. The Seven of Wands is not an easy energy to navigate because it can feel really overwhelming when you are being challenged from all sides. But here is what I want you to remember about this card. The figure in the Seven of Wands has the high ground. They are in a position of advantage even though they are outnumbered. This tells me that even if you feel like you are facing opposition in the coming days, you actually have more power in this situation than you might realize. You have something they want or need. You have knowledge they do not have. You have a perspective that is valuable even if they are not willing to admit it yet. The Seven of Wands asks you to stand up for yourself and your beliefs even when it would be easier to back down or compromise just to keep the peace. This is not about being aggressive or confrontational for the sake of it, but it is about recognizing when your position is worth defending and then actually doing it. In the next 2 days, you might face situations where people try to undermine you, where they question your capabilities, where they suggest that maybe you are not ready or qualified or experienced enough to be in the position you are in. And I am telling you right now, do not let them shake your confidence. The Seven of Wands says you earned your place. You worked for this. You deserve to be exactly where you are, but you do need to be willing to fight for it because not everyone is going to just hand you the respect and recognition you deserve. Some people are going to make you prove yourself again and again, and as frustrating as that is, this card says you have what it takes to meet those challenges head on. Now I will say this. The Seven of Wands can also be a warning against becoming so defensive that you see threats where there are none. Sometimes when we have been in fight mode for too long, we start to perceive everything as an attack, even when someone is genuinely trying to help or offer constructive feedback. So as you move through the next 48 hours, try to stay grounded enough to distinguish between real challenges that need to be addressed and situations where maybe you are being a little too defensive because you are still in survival mode from everything else you have been through. The combination of the Nine of Wands and the Seven of Wands tells me you are absolutely in warrior mode right now. And while that energy is necessary and protective, make sure it does not isolate you from people who actually have your best interests at heart. The third card that came through is the Hermit, and honestly, this card is such a breath of fresh air after the intensity of those two Wands cards because the Hermit is saying that part of what is happening in the next 48 hours involves you needing to pull back from all that external conflict and chaos and spend some time in quiet reflection and solitude. The Hermit is one of those cards that people sometimes misunderstand because they think it is about loneliness or isolation in a negative sense, but that is not what this energy is about at all. The Hermit is about choosing to step away from the noise and the demands of the outside world so that you can reconnect with your own inner wisdom and clarity. This card shows a figure standing alone on a mountaintop, holding a lantern that illuminates the path ahead. This is someone who has climbed to great heights through their own efforts, someone who has done the internal work necessary to understand themselves on a deeper level. And for you, Gemini, the Hermit appearing in this reading tells me that in the midst of all these battles and challenges you are facing, there is going to be a moment, or maybe several moments in the next 2 days, where you need to just completely withdraw and get quiet with yourself. This might mean literally taking time away from people, turning off your phone, spending time alone in nature or in meditation or just in quiet contemplation. But it could also mean emotionally and energetically pulling back even when you are physically around others, creating that internal space where you can hear your own thoughts and feelings without all the external input and opinions clouding your judgment. The Hermit is telling you that the answers you are looking for, the clarity you need about how to handle these challenges, it is not going to come from asking 100 different people for their advice or scrolling through social media looking for validation or trying to figure out what everyone else thinks you should do. The answers are within you. You already know what you need to know. You just need to get quiet enough to hear that inner voice of wisdom that has been trying to guide you all along. In the next 48 hours, I would not be surprised if you find yourself craving solitude in a way that maybe feels unusual for you as a Gemini who typically thrives on social interaction and mental stimulation. But this is not about cutting yourself off from the world forever. This is about taking a strategic pause so that you can recharge your energy and gain the perspective you need to move forward with confidence. The Hermit also suggests that you might be receiving guidance or insights from a mentor figure, someone who has walked a similar path before you and can offer wisdom based on their own experiences. This could be an actual person in your life, or it could be wisdom that comes through books, videos, or even just quiet reflection on lessons you have learned in the past. Pay attention to those moments of clarity that come when you are alone and quiet, because the Hermit says those insights are going to be incredibly valuable for navigating what comes next. There is also something here about truth and authenticity. The Hermit holds up that lantern not to show off or to draw attention to themselves, but to illuminate the path for anyone who is genuinely seeking. This tells me that part of your journey right now involves getting really honest with yourself about what you truly want and need, not what you think you should want or what other people expect from you, but what actually aligns with your deepest values and your authentic self. The next 48 hours might bring situations that force you to confront some uncomfortable truths about your life, your relationships, your career, your goals. And while that confrontation might not be pleasant in the moment, the Hermit says it is necessary for your growth and evolution. Sometimes we need to retreat into that cave of solitude so that we can emerge with greater wisdom and clarity about who we are and where we are meant to go. The fourth card is the Eight of Pentacles, and this is where the energy really starts to shift in an interesting direction, because after all that fighting and defending and withdrawing, the Eight of Pentacles comes in with this very grounded, practical, focused energy. This card shows a craftsman sitting at a workbench, carefully and methodically creating pentacle after pentacle. This is someone who has dedicated themselves to mastering their craft, someone who understands that excellence comes through practice and repetition and attention to detail. And for you, Gemini, the Eight of Pentacles appearing in this reading tells me that part of what is happening in the next 48 hours involves you needing to buckle down and focus on the practical work that needs to be done. After all the drama and conflict and soul searching, there comes a point where you just need to put your head down and do the work. The Eight of Pentacles is not a flashy or exciting card. It is not about big breakthroughs or sudden transformations. It is about the steady, consistent effort that builds mastery over time. In the coming days, you might find yourself needing to focus on developing a specific skill, completing a project that requires your full attention, or putting in the hours necessary to improve at something that matters to you. This could be related to your career, your education, a creative pursuit, or even personal development work. The key here is that the Eight of Pentacles asks you to approach this work with dedication and patience. You are not going to become a master overnight, but every hour you invest in honing your skills and improving your craft is moving you closer to that goal. There is also something here about quality over quantity. The craftsman in the Eight of Pentacles is not rushing through the work just to get it done. They are taking the time to make sure each pentacle is created with care and precision. This tells me that in the next 2 days, you might need to slow down and really focus on doing something well rather than just doing it quickly. It is better to produce one excellent result than 10 mediocre ones. The Eight of Pentacles can also indicate that you are entering a learning phase, a time when you are acquiring new knowledge or skills that will serve you well in the future. You might find yourself taking a class, reading books or articles, watching tutorials, or seeking out mentorship from someone who has expertise in an area where you want to grow. This card encourages you to embrace that beginner mindset, to be willing to not know everything and to be open to learning and improving. Now, here is where this connects to the other cards in your reading. After all that fighting and defending your position with the 9 and 7 of Wands, and after taking that retreat into solitude with the Hermit, the Eight of Pentacles is saying that now it is time to actually implement what you have learned. It is time to take all those insights and realizations and translate them into practical action. You cannot just think and reflect forever. At some point, you have to roll up your sleeves and do the work. And the next 48 hours might be when you start to see opportunities to apply your skills and talents in new ways, to demonstrate your competence and dedication, to show people through your actions and results that you are serious about your growth and development. The Eight of Pentacles also has an energy of diligence and self-discipline. This is about showing up day after day, even when you do not feel particularly inspired or motivated, and putting in the effort because you are committed to the long-term goal. In the coming days, you might need to resist the temptation to get distracted or to give up when things feel tedious or boring. The work might not always be exciting, but it is necessary, and the Eight of Pentacles reminds you that there is satisfaction and fulfillment that comes from knowing you are building something solid through your own efforts. The fifth card is the Page of Swords, and this card brings a completely different energy into your reading because the Page of Swords is all about curiosity, communication, and new ideas. This is the card of the eternal student, someone who is always asking questions, always seeking to understand, always looking at things from different angles. The Page of Swords has this very youthful, energetic quality where they are eager to learn and explore, but they can also be a bit impulsive or hasty in their thinking. For you, Gemini, this is actually very aligned with your natural energy because Gemini is ruled by Mercury, the planet of communication and intellect, so you probably resonate quite strongly with the Page of Swords energy. In the context of what is coming in the next 48 hours, the Page of Swords suggests that you are going to be receiving new information, new ideas, or new perspectives that change how you think about a situation. This could come through a conversation with someone, something you read or hear, a sudden realization or aha moment, or just a shift in how you are processing what has been happening in your life. The Page of Swords encourages you to stay mentally agile and open-minded, to be willing to question your assumptions and consider possibilities you had not thought of before. There is also something here about communication and speaking your truth. The Page of Swords is not afraid to say what they think, to ask the tough questions, to challenge ideas that do not make sense to them. In the next 2 days, you might find yourself in situations where you need to speak up, where you need to articulate your thoughts and opinions clearly, where you need to advocate for yourself or for what you believe is right. The Page of Swords says, do not hold back. Be bold in your communication. Say what needs to be said, even if it feels uncomfortable or risky. Now, I will say that the Page of Swords can sometimes indicate communication that is a bit sharp or cutting. Pages in the tarot are still learning and developing their skills, so they do not always have the maturity or wisdom to communicate in the most diplomatic way. You might find yourself being more direct or blunt than usual in the coming days, or you might encounter someone else who communicates in a way that feels harsh or critical. If you are on the receiving end of sharp words, try not to take it too personally. The Page of Swords energy is about seeking truth and clarity, not about intentionally hurting people. And if you are the one delivering messages that might be difficult for others to hear, try to balance that truthfulness with compassion and awareness of how your words might impact the other person. The Page of Swords can also indicate gathering information or doing research. You might find yourself in detective mode over the next 48 hours, digging deeper into a situation to understand what is really going on beneath the surface. This could be about researching options before making a decision, asking questions to get clarity on something that has been confusing you, or simply being more observant and analytical about the dynamics at play in your life. Trust your intellectual curiosity and your ability to see through illusions or deceptions. The Page of Swords has a sharp mind and a keen eye for detail, and those qualities are going to serve you well as you navigate the challenges and opportunities coming your way. There is also an element here of being strategic in how you use information. The Page of Swords knows that knowledge is power, and they are skilled at gathering information that gives them an advantage. In the next 2 days, pay attention to what people are saying and what they are not saying. Notice the gaps in stories, the inconsistencies in behavior, the subtle clues that reveal what is really going on. Your ability to analyze and synthesize information is one of your greatest strengths right now. The sixth and final card in your reading is the Knight of Swords, and this card really amplifies and accelerates everything the Page of Swords was bringing through. If the page is about curiosity and gathering information, the Knight is about taking swift, decisive action based on that information. The Knight of Swords is one of the fastest moving cards in the entire tarot deck. This is someone who knows what they want, knows where they are going, and is not going to let anything stand in their way. The Knight of Swords charges forward with determination and intensity, cutting through obstacles and confusion to get straight to the heart of the matter. For you, Gemini, the Knight of Swords appearing as your final card tells me that the next 48 hours are going to culminate in you making a move, taking action, or making a decision that propels you forward in a significant way. After all the defending and fighting with the Wands cards, after the introspection with the Hermit, after the focused work with the Eight of Pentacles, and after gathering information with the Page of Swords, now it is time to act. The Knight of Swords does not hesitate or second guess. When they see an opportunity or when they know what needs to be done, they go for it with full force. This could manifest as you finally speaking up about something that has been bothering you, making a bold career move, ending a situation that is no longer serving you, or pursuing an opportunity that requires courage and confidence. The Knight of Swords is not afraid of conflict or confrontation. In fact, they are quite comfortable with cutting through the nonsense and getting straight to the truth. If you have been avoiding a difficult conversation or putting off a decision because you are worried about how others might react, the Knight of Swords says the time for waiting is over. You need to be direct, clear, and decisive in your actions. Now, I do want to give you a heads up that the Knight of Swords can sometimes move a bit too quickly or act without fully considering all the consequences. Knights in tarot tend to be focused on the immediate goal without always thinking about the longer-term implications. So while I am encouraging you to be bold and decisive in the next 48 hours, I am also suggesting that you take a moment to make sure you are acting from a place of clarity and purpose, rather than just reacting impulsively to whatever is happening around you. The combination of the Hermit and the Knight of Swords is actually really powerful because it suggests that you are going to have moments of deep reflection and insight that then inform quick, decisive action. You are not just charging forward blindly, you are moving with intention and awareness. The Knight of Swords can also indicate communication that is very direct and to the point. You might find yourself having conversations in the next 2 days where you are not interested in small talk or beating around the bush. You want answers, you want clarity, you want to get to the truth of the matter without all the fluff and distraction. This energy can be incredibly refreshing and liberating, but it can also ruffle some feathers if people are not used to you being so direct. The Knight of Swords does not really care about being liked or being polite. They care about being effective and getting results. So if you need to have a tough conversation or set a firm boundary or make a decision that not everyone is going to be happy about, this card says, go ahead and do it. Your integrity and your truth are more important than keeping everyone comfortable. There's also something here about mental clarity and seeing through illusions. The Knight of Swords has a very sharp, analytical mind that can cut through confusion and get to the core issue very quickly. In the next 48 hours, you might suddenly see a situation with perfect clarity, understanding exactly what needs to happen and exactly what you need to do. Trust those moments of insight and be willing to act on them, even if they require you to make changes or take risks that feel uncomfortable. The Knight of Swords is ultimately about forward momentum and progress. After a period of feeling stuck or uncertain or defensive, this card says you are ready to move forward with confidence and determination. Whatever has been holding you back, whatever obstacles have been in your way, the Knight of Swords gives you the energy and the courage to push past them and claim what is rightfully yours. So, Gemini, when I look at this entire reading together, here is what I am seeing for you over the next 48 hours. You are in the final stages of a battle or struggle that has required tremendous resilience and strength. You are tired, you are wounded, but you are still standing and you are not ready to give up. In the coming days, you are going to face additional challenges or opposition that require you to defend your position and stand your ground, even when it feels like multiple people or situations are pushing against you. But here is the thing, you are not alone in this, and you are not without resources. You have the wisdom that comes from spending time in quiet reflection and solitude. You have been doing the internal work, getting clear on your values and your truth, and that clarity is going to guide you through these challenges. You also have skills and talents that you have been developing and refining, and the work you have been putting in is about to pay off in tangible ways. You are going to receive new information or insights that shift your perspective and help you see the path forward more clearly. And then you are going to take swift, decisive action based on all of this. You are going to speak your truth, make bold moves, and cut through the confusion and obstacles that have been holding you back. The next 48 hours are not going to be easy or comfortable, but they are going to be transformative. You are moving from a defensive position to an offensive one, from uncertainty to clarity, from hesitation to decisive action. Trust yourself, trust your instincts, and trust that you have everything you need within you to handle whatever comes your way. The universe is supporting you even when it feels like you are fighting against the current. You have got this, Gemini. Stay strong, stay focused, and get ready to claim your power in a whole new way. I really hope this reading resonated with you and gave you some clarity about what to expect and how to navigate the energy coming your way. If you felt the truth in these messages, I would love to hear from you in the comments. Let me know which card spoke to you the most, or if you are already feeling some of these energies showing up in your life. And remember, you are not alone in whatever you are facing. We are all navigating our own journeys, and sometimes just knowing that someone else understands what we are going through can make all the difference. Take care of yourself in the next 48 hours. Trust your inner wisdom, and know that you are stronger and more capable than you sometimes give yourself credit for. Sending you so much love and light as you move through this powerful time.